So I have finally found another hidden gem. No, wait, guys. I wish that that's what today's video is going to be. But we're going to review a just released new one that I kind of suspected might not be great, but you know, good old Dead Fred. I want to get to these listings and show you guys, for any of you that are into just like me going through and looking for hidden gems. I wanted to show you this one, this really strange handheld, the R40S. Now, we looked earlier this year at the R39S, which was a 4-inch horizontal, and now we have, 4-inch vertical, and now we have the horizontal version of this. And this guy has a really unique feature, if you can call it that, but it only, like the R39S, it only has an R and L button. It doesn't have R2 or L2, but this one has an angle. A weird angle, guys. Look at that. It's a big old fatty, a fatty. Now, why I'm always hopeful, I'm an optimistic at heart that I'll find something good about that. This is not one of those videos, guys. This one is not good. So I'm not going to make you watch the whole video if you don't want to. Quick answer to this, it has a trash D-pad, a very worse than the R39S. It's just awful. It has a lot of design language that's goofy. The FN button, while functional, is in a terrible spot. It's in a terrible spot to use it. It doesn't have any internal Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I couldn't get a Wi-Fi dongle working. It has a ridiculously low looking small battery, and the build quality of it is not what's on the picture of the box. I mean, the box, when I first saw the box, it was exciting. Now, anyways, if you're going to watch the video, stick with me and we'll do the unboxing. Anyways, just wanted to let you guys know I'm thankful for all 2,000 plus of you who have subscribed. Please subscribe if you like our content. Help us grow. Anyways, let's hop in and unbox the R40S. Aye, come celebrate the Irish spirit this Saturday night here at Dead Fred's Tavern. Come bring the green and let's celebrate the luck of the Irish. No, wait. I'm not Irish. I'm Scottish. A little Irish. And I don't own a tavern. Hey, Deadheads. Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, we're going to be talking about... Okay, as always, let's start with the unboxing. And as we take a look at the box here, the first thing I noticed as I pulled it out of my cocaine package is that it has a nice looking box. This is a better looking box than the R39S came in. So props to them for improving the box. It has a really nice look to it with an image on front and the R40S logo. It gives the unit a nice look on the front of it, and that'll be important in a minute as I look this over. As we go over around the box, we see the game console and this Playground Games logo on the side, which is a bit curious. We haven't seen that before, so that's a bit new. There's not much else on the sides, but if we rotate to the back, then we go, oh, now we see that it does list the colors. Now, when I ordered this, I went for green because I like green, and I thought it would be a nice colorway, but we do have green, blue, white, orange, black. Now, this didn't get much news because only Dead Fred and, Wicked Gamer and maybe Nick mess around with these sort of e-West things, so maybe it wasn't well known. But the R39S, that thing promised an RK3566. And while Magic X took a lot of heat for their mistake, nobody seemed to care about the R39S, maybe because it was trash, but it actually did not have a 3566. It had a 3326. So now I'm glad to say that on their packaging, this one has launched admitting that it's an RK3326. It does have 1 gig of RAM, a 4-inch screen. It's 800 by 600 and a 3000 milliamp battery. So that is the box. Once we start to open the box and we get inside, we start to see the usual suspects. So We have our packaging. Let's move the unit out of the way here and take a look inside. And we've got, oh, we've got a little wipey. We've got the wipies. We've got the little guide sticker. We've got a flimsy screen protector. And we got our USB-C cable. And this one is a pure white USB A to C. And then, of course, we've got the manual. Now, this manual for the R40S is wicked basic. Wicked. No pun there, wicked collector. But it's basic. And look at it. There's not much to it. I mean, come on, guys. What's going on with this? There's literally no information on it. It doesn't have the specs. It's worthless. Much like the rest of this handheld. Anyways, let's get all that out of the way and we start looking deeper and take a look at the handheld itself. As we remove it from the packaging and look inside, we do find that it is just as I expected, looking like it did on the image where we bought it. Now, I mentioned the packaging, and where this is important is because if we take a look again at the packaging, we see what looks like, if I can get it up to the screen here, we see what looks like some nice little buttons, your traditional black buttons with the colored lines in it. But do we get that? Oh, no, we get Clown World. Oh my God, we have these fugly buttons. And in a minute, you'll see a segment from the old man. And the old man knows about none of this, and he should have seen his reaction. We'll play that in a second. But it does not look like what's on the package. So this is like false advertising again, okay? First time they released this, and it didn't have the real CPU in it. Now we've got this picture that looks nice and attractive, but the black version, even in their imagery online, doesn't show those buttons. These buttons are but holding this thing, it feels light, it feels cheap, it feels totally crap. Okay, guys, I don't like to be ugly here. I try to be positive, a positive person, but this thing is not very nice. But it's a good moment to stop here and let's let the old man tell us what he thinks about it. So, old man, what do you think? And once again, it's time to hear from the old man. What will he say about this handheld? All right, guys, so as promised, the old man's going to take a look at this, the R40S. Let's see what he thinks about this. I have some ideas myself. I don't know. We'll see what he thinks about it, especially these buttons. I want to know what he thinks about these buttons. So, what do you think with his buttons?
Ooh. Look at this thing. It don't weigh nothing. It's lightweight. You got the control here. Speaker vents. I got one speaker. One speaker. You got these look like M&M buttons, the M&M colors up on top here. Red, blue, yellow, green. All the rest of the stuff is black. Why would they put that? I mean, the box. Does this look like what's on the box? The whole box shows them being black. That's deceptive. That's deceptive. Somebody think he's gonna get black, and it's just flimsy plastic. You know what I think about this thing? This is that's where it belongs.
All right, you heard him. The old man is.
You heard it from the old man.
All right. Okay, guys. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to tell you something. I wanted to share something with you. This next week, March 17th, not only are we getting some big news in the world of gaming, stay tuned for that, Qualcomm, but AliExpress, our friends at AliExpress are having a huge anniversary sale. And I wanted to let you guys know about this anniversary sale, some codes I have, some awesome products that are out there. You guys have been watching the channel. You know that we like SD cards for our handhelds. We like the handhelds. There's plenty of handhelds out there. So I just wanted to stop and give you guys a little heads up to look for this anniversary sale happening March 17th, 2025. It's going to be some of the biggest celebratory sales they've had. AliExpress has been going for more than 10 years, guys. So make sure you hit the links on below, share it with your friends. Let's save some money. Every time you purchase, it helps the channel grow. So thank you guys for this. Anyways, back to the video. Thanks, old man. So as you can see, he had some good commentary there. But as always, let's go through the paces and let's start with the buttons. And while these colored buttons are unattractive and they're kind of rough, like the old man said, the one thing I will say is that they're not connected, but they're very sticky. I don't know if you can hear that. They're very sticky. They stick together. They're loud. They're just not great buttons, guys. Can't say that I like the buttons that much. But what about the switch sticks? So we move over to the switch sticks, and yeah, they're switch sticks. They're, you know, probably going to drift eventually, and they feel like the very same ones you see in all these handhelds. So I say the switch sticks are, you know, your standard stuff there. They work. I like they're in the bottom configuration. The old man likes they're across from each other also. He seems to care about that a lot, as many of you do. And they work fine. Let's talk about this D-pad. This D-pad's atrocious. Hey, Game MT, looking at you. You no longer have the crown for worst D-pad. This thing is awful, guys. It's just terrible. And it's not necessarily the design of it, it's this particular implementation. The D-pad sticks, it's not fluid, it's clicky, it's loud, it's not very fun to press on and use. You can see in a lot of games that had a lot of false inputs in it. I just don't like the D-pad. It's not good. It's just not good. Enough said. The shoulder buttons. Now, the shoulder buttons are at a very interesting angle, so I kind of thought maybe that'll be a plus. And holding the both sticks together at the bottom with your hands on these large shoulder buttons, I kind of say that's not terrible. I mean, if I was going to say one thing about this thing that is somewhat interesting is the way that it's angled, the size of it, and the position of it works okay. It works not bad. Now, I'd rather have normal shoulders. I'd rather have either inline. I'd rather have L2 and R2. I'd rather have a lot on this handheld. But, you know, point being made, if you're only going to have one and you're going to have a large one, this could be good. The old man found it to be easy to reach. So, you know, if you're going to give this to a kid or something, that may be helpful to have that back there. You know, Game Boy Advance does use LNR. So if you're going to use this and run it as a Game Boy Advance system, which shouldn't, but if you are, that could be kind of an advantage there. Now, let's talk about the speaker. There are two speaker vents on the back. And at first I thought, okay, maybe there's two speakers in this thing. But there's not. And as I play a little video here to kind of let you listen, we'll take a listen here. It's, there's one speaker. Again, you know, we put different fancy good looking buttons on the box. We make you think you have two speakers here when you don't. Yeah, what can I say? And the one speaker is not terrible, but it's not great and it's backfiring. So nothing exciting there. The rest of the I/O, we do have two slots. We have two slots here for it. The card and a headphone jack. We have a volume rocker on the side. And then we have our power button and reset button. So that's the hardware. So it's cheap. It feels cheap. We have a huge bezel on the screen. It's not a fantastic screen. It's a 4-inch screen. It looks like an old iPhone screen. I don't know, iPhone 4 maybe or something. But it's just, yeah, this thing's going over 40 bucks. Guys, the Battle XP is 40 bucks. It's just hard to recommend something like this at all. But let's turn it on and see what happens. And as we boot in, we get our good old familiar anticipated EMU elect, which didn't surprise me. Upon looking in the menu, it's actually Emulate 4.5, so it's not even updated to 4.7. Come on, lazy. And as much as I hate Emulate, at least it does have the 2 cards. If it's really a 3326, which we think, that could be okay. And we start to go through the software, and the first thing I notice is I can't get into RetroArch. So trying to get into RetroArch with my normal 2 sticks doesn't work. I hit select and I hit up, I hit the buttons, nothing's working. Then I notice that there's actually a function button. Now guys, the function button is in the absolute worst place. If this was a handheld that I liked and this function button was in that spot, I'd be griping also because it's in a bad spot. Trying to hold the function button down while hitting the X button, triangle, whatever you want to call it, the green button, is awkward. It's not smooth. It's awkward. It's not easy to do. And it makes it just not good. Hey, Dead Fred, at least we have RetroArch. Okay, you're right. It's been released, 4 years ago. I can see people going, hey, this ain't too bad for $40. Now, yeah, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But it's awful, man. This function button is terrible. It's in a terrible spot. It shouldn't be there. I don't like it. As I show you guys a little bit of gameplay footage, I'm not going to do a lot of gameplay on this thing because this thing is just, there's nothing that I can really recommend about it. As I go deeper into this thing and I do more of these, it's becoming harder and harder to have anything sort of positive to say about these handhelds. When they come out and they're like this, I already know most of you already think I'm crazy for playing with any of these, but the ones of you that have, come down here into the e-wasteland with me, who've come into Skid Row, Joey, you Retros handhelds, come visit Skid Row sometime. Anyways, I know that the ones that will come here, this is bad. It's bad. It's not salvageable. It's not tinkerable. It's just bad. And I was hoping it would be good because we don't have a lot of choices for our 4-inch. But the U8 is out. And if we're going to stay in e-wasteland, the U8 is way better. The U8's way better than this. It has its own issues. So, pardon me. So yeah, there's not a lot to like here. A lot of problems, a lot of jank. It's goofy. It's not even goofy in that bad way where it's almost adorable. It's just trash. It's terrible. Don't buy it. I don't like it. It's not good. There's nothing redeeming about it. It has a lot of bad issues. The function button's in the worst spot. These shoulder buttons are about the only thing that are somewhat charming, but even they're trash overall. It's got a horrific D-pad. It is light. It feels light. A huge bezel. The screen's not that great. The sound's not that great. But if you end up with one of these and you have a 3, 4, 5-year-old, they'll play on it. They'll play on it. They'll like it. Or some elderly person may play on it and not know it. But the old man, remember, doesn't really know things, although he's learning lately now that he's doing more. Immediately, he didn't like it. So that's it. That's our review of the R40S, or this R40S. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, guys, tomorrow's never promised. Remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow is never promised. Anyways, we have some better stuff coming, some reviews of some actual exciting stuff. So stay tuned to the channel as always. And again, thanks to AliExpress, and look forward to their sale next week. Make sure you check our page for all the details. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out. Remember to hit